So what is stress and how can we manage it best? Well, I felt a bit stressed this morning and I'm currently curling my hair whilst doing this because I've broken up my day into bite-sized chunks, but I didn't have enough time to do my hair and my makeup, which aren't my priorities, and I'm focused on my priorities. So I just thought I'd do it at the same time because it's a bit of time for self-care. So that's what I'd start with, is goal setting can really help reduce stress, to break down your day, especially when you're feeling feelings of overwhelmed. But the thing that causes stress can be a number of things, but it's events, it's uncertain events, and we're all different in how we respond to situations, how we deal with stress, how we deal with worries. And that's the great news, is that with stress, we can learn to cope and manage it well, because actually how one person perceives a situation can be very different if you've got a negative mindset, if you're a pessimist versus an optimist and you've got a positive mindset. And actually a lot of stress comes from the unknown and fear of the unknown and uncertain events. Now's the example time for a lot of triggers of stress. So we've had an election in the US, we've undergoing a pandemic, and whilst we might have got a bit of a boost when we heard there might be a vaccine, it's that crash again because we don't know when it will be, and then some people feel uncomfortable about it. So again, stress is caused by a number of different things. What might be stressful to me might not be stressful to you, and vice versa. And it's basically the build-up of the stress hormone cortisol, which is our fight and fly response. So originally it'd be to run away from tigers or whatnot in the forest, but nowadays it can be a metaphorical tiger, it can be conflict at work, it can be problems at home, it can be family problems, relationship problems, work problems, feeling overwhelmed. There are so many different contributions that are our metaphorical tigers these days. Now, stress isn't all bad, because with stress, a build-up of adrenaline too. That's where we get that like surge of adrenaline that we need to do something, right? So it can be a good thing in terms of performance. So I'm a performer by trade and also a presenter, dancer. So I actually use stress in normal times when I'm performing, because actually that build-up of adrenaline is a good thing because it makes me perform well. Or you might feel stress when you're watching your football team, but in a way that kind of can be a positive stress because you're doing it out of enjoyment, and it's that camaraderie and that social side of watching sports teams play. But again, it's uncertain events that are often feeling beyond our control. Now you might say, well, I support this team, so actually the stress is bad. Well, then I'd say if you don't need to, then either avoid it. But we're going to look at how to manage stress and all sorts of stress. Now, I'd start with building your resilience. And that's an easy word to say, but it's harder than just building your resilience. Wouldn't we all just like to cope with stress and build us resilience? Well, by doing this, what I'd suggest first is moving more. If you can, move more outdoors, but even if it's just in the comfort of your own home, just moving, because often we hear with stress, we want to eat better, we want to sleep better, we want to breathe more, we want to relax more. But I'd say the core principle is moving more, because actually by moving and just releasing those endorphins and happy hormones, we're more resilient to be able to cope with stress and manage stress. And also then implement, when we're feeling strong in mind and body, we can implement those coping strategies such as eating well, because like what we consume, whether it be podcasts, news, food, drink, does play a part on our mood and how we can manage stress. Obviously, if we're having lots of sugar and it's like that quick boost where it might make us feel good, and then it's that crash where everything feels too much, or, and I'm guilty of this, way too much caffeine again can like boost your anxiety levels, your stress levels. Again, looking at what we're consuming does help, but for me it always starts with moving more. But if you can do any of these steps, you're on a better, like, you're building your resilience better to dealing with stressful situations, whatever they may be to you. Another thing is breathe. So when I'm doing the moving and exercise, I do try and take deep breaths in and out. But even just simple things, taking a break and breathing, honestly, you can't fool your smartwatch if you've tried, because I've tried that before, by just sitting at my desk, breathing deeply and out when I get all these like emails or whatever conflicts coming through my inbox. Just taking a break and breathing can really help. If you can manage meditation, brilliant. Or again, yoga, something gentle, something mindful. Even just getting outdoors and just taking on your surroundings, being more mindful, that really helps. And just see that there's a bigger picture out of our little stressful bubble, that there is a bigger world. Also, communicate with people. So if you're not ready for that bit about sharing your stresses or speaking it out to someone, maybe start by expressing yourself, whether it be through creativity or words, how you're feeling, release yourself and just let it flow. But I do recommend finding a trusted person to be able to kind of share your worries with, because sometimes it's somebody who puts it into perspective, and actually seeing someone's reaction and they're like, that's not going to happen, or that wouldn't really stress me out. And actually, as long as they're being kind about it and understanding that's how you feel, you can't help how you feel. But what you can do is build your resilience up and change how you manage the stress levels. And also in the future, it sets you up better to be able to manage with stress. So little things that might have given you stress originally, once you build up your resilience, feeling strong in mind and body and stress levels, you'll be much more able to take on other challenges like that. So what I do is communicate with someone, because often what we're worried about isn't realised, and it's when we're in that stress cycle and we're making bad decisions, we're not working as hard as we'd like, but then we're getting into toxic productivity where we're trying to be productive even when we don't feel like it, and it's not helpful. And sometimes just taking a break, speaking, chatting, moving, just the basic core principles, the basic rhythms of life, we seem to have lost because we're so caught up in our stress cycle. The 24/7 news, we get so caught up on all of that. So it's really important to take a step out and realize that that isn't everything, and what you can control is yourself and feeling as strong in mind and body. I'm not saying that I'll be able to rid you of your stress, because I still get overwhelmed, I still make mistakes, I still get stressed, but I manage it a lot better now, where it doesn't go into an absolute downward spiral, end up with an anxiety attack and get to the other end of the spectrum where it just feels completely unmanageable. But again, set those goals, break things down into small chunks, and you will feel better eventually. I can guarantee you that. Also, finally, let's change our language. So let's utilize, those Eastern philosophies, rather than overcoming the mountain, going over the mountain, or battling the mountain, or battling whatever. We just go round the mountain. So we're not battling stress, we're not combating stress, we're managing it, and we're just going round the mountain, and we're learning to adapt to changing situations which are beyond our control. We're not combating it, we're not in battle mode, because all those things don't help our stress levels and that high cortisol level. And what we're doing is we're going around the mountain, we're learning to adapt, we're learning to change direction, and just to love ourselves a bit more, go, okay, yeah, that situation, I don't want to feel like that again. Could I have been any different? But most of all I can manage is the now. And that's a note to myself and a note to you. So sending you all so much peace, breaths, deep breaths, love to yourself and to others, and to be calmer on yourself, and shimmies or whatever movements, whether it be squats, or if you just want to add a bit of sparkle to your life. But most of all, just speak out, reach out, Chat to me on social. I'm at Mama May Blog and at The Sparkle Coach. I look forward to chatting to you more. I'd love to know your failures and your successes when it comes to your stress levels. But remember, failure is the condiment to success. And I have failed billions of times, not just in the past, recent times. Always I'm failing, but that is the condiment to success. You've got this, we've got this. And let's manage and adapt to those stressful events differently so that actually maybe next time it's not that much stress. So peace, love and shimmies. Do please subscribe and share this video if you think it'll be helpful to others. And most of all, it just means a lot that you come to this part and you're watching it. So thank you. See you guys later.